This episode of Storyline is brought to you by Three Ring Media. Today on Storyline, writing is rewriting, Strictly Scriptly, and the next 5-ish pages of The Stereotypes. Let's do this.
You're not gonna do it, are you?
I can't. It's not who I am anymore.
Who?
That musician chick? I've grown up.
Yeah, I've noticed.
I don't even want it anymore. I mean, I'm happy right now.
I work with you. Nobody there's happy.
I am. I mean, I don't even own a guitar anymore.
What?
I haven't played the guitar in like 6 years.
I can't believe you're not even gonna try.
Well, I'm not, so drop it. I just can't work with him again.
David, are you there? David!
Sorry. All of them? Really?
Basically. You know, I spoke to the bass player, Morgan, and he said he'd get in touch with the rest of the band. He is going to deliver, right?
Morgan's good on his word.
Okay. All right. Marketing is 100% behind this, man. I'd feel better if you were on board with this, too. They're a talented band, but they need a real songwriter. A sound engineer, a college professor, and a girl with a regular office job, that just doesn't instill confidence. As a matter of fact, Morgan said they try to find another keyboard player, so you wouldn't even have to play.
Wait, what? They want to replace me.
No, I didn't mean to say that. They probably don't know who you are now.
No, I doubt that, Reggie. Look, forget it. I got too much on my plate. I'm out.
Don't forget about your meeting with...
Welcome to Storyline, the show where you get to laugh at three aspiring filmmakers learning how not to make a feature-length film. I'm your host, Ben Howe, and this is my dog, Indiana. I don't know, I just thought you might like him. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about rewriting in this episode because we were rewriting the script until about 5 minutes before we started shooting. And then, even during the shooting, we were still trying to nail down the exact right dialogue. Now, this is an area where our format doesn't actually work for the kind of rewriting that guys like John Truby and Robert McKee talk about. So since they're the gurus and we're trying to learn, I figured I'd just talk about what they have to say and how we're trying to integrate that into this project. According to Robert McKee, rewriting is much more than looking at a scene and simply changing the words. Paraphrasing and reparaphrasing, that isn't rewriting, that's polishing. Rewriting is deep structural change in character and story. The first draft of anything is going to be crap. We're only capable of excellence maybe 10% of the time. So the goal then is to identify the good 10% and throw out the garbage 90% and then rewrite that as many times as it takes to get to that 100% of excellence. John Truby warns against focusing on dialogue and instead focusing on the bones of the story. What's the best order for the scenes to take place? There's a great link in the show notes with John Truby talking about misconceptions about what rewriting is. So the way that we've approached this is with note cards. For the most part, we know what scenes we need to have in the movie. We even think we know what order to put them in. But moving our note cards and sticky notes around allows us to visualize what impact the various scenes will have depending on where they go. So spend your time on the story structure before you spend any time writing dialogue. We spent 18 months talking about our story, digging deep into our characters and their backstories. We even wrote out the entire backstory as a script, some of which will make it into the final film, some of which won't. But it was important to us to get to understand our characters and their motivations. Now, the plan was supposed to be that we would write the actual script as we went along, but after just 3 episodes, I have to concede I don't believe we can make the movie with that as the plan. Even after all the planning we've done, we need a complete script to work from so that we can rewrite as we go. So we're working hard now to get a real first draft on paper that we can pull apart and examine and restructure to make the best final script possible. Originally, there was an entire scene before this one that you'll see next time because we decided to flip them. Reggie then met with David and they talked shop for a little while. After that, Reggie told David about the viral video, David watched it, and then the scene pretty much moved on forward as you saw it. The problem with that is that it's pretty much a repeat of the classroom scene and the deli scene. And this was our fourth draft. Now, how we got that far without realizing that boggles my mind, but I wasn't satisfied with shooting from that script, so I asked for a rewrite, with just 3 days to go before filming. The solution called for us to invert the sequence order, but the fifth draft was now 11 pages long because we lost some pretty significant exposition and felt like the audience would be lost if it wasn't there. Now, Robert McKee says that the average length of your scene should be about 3 minutes. A 5-minute scene is okay here and there, but I just couldn't get behind an 11-page scene. Even if we edited that super tight, it was going to be long, too much to ask an actor who's volunteering to try to memorize in 48 hours. So James and TJ took a look at it again and decided to start hacking.
TJ. I've rewritten the entire script. It's time to get up.
Alright, let me put pants on.
Why would you tell me that?
Why wouldn't I tell you that?
Gosh.
We lost some exposition, which we'll have to pick up at a later time, but we kept the nuts and bolts character stuff. So my question to you is this. How'd we do? As far as the story goes, did we lose anybody? Do you feel like you're missing any information? All right, I guess that was 3 questions. We're going to put a poll on the Facebook page so you can hopefully communicate your thoughts to us quickly.
And now it's time for Storyline Quote of the Week. Rewriting is to writing what improvisation is to acting. Actors improvise scenes countless ways in search of the perfect choice of behavior and expression. The same is true for writers. To eliminate mediocrity, fine writers constantly experiment, play with, toss, and turn ideas for scenes tens of different ways, rewriting in search of the perfect choice. The perfect choice, of course, is dependent on the writer's innate sense of taste. The unfortunate truth is that most struggling writers are blind to their banality.
Let's take a quick second to thank our sponsor for this episode, really our sponsor for every episode, 3 Ring Media. James and I both work there as professional storytellers, and I gotta tell you, we both love our jobs. Am I right, James? Totally. At 3 Ring, we believe everyone has a story, a narrative thread that runs through every aspect of their lives. We aim to bring the significance of those stories to others through media production. Whether business or personal, creative or corporate, 3 Ring Media is there to use the power of story to communicate the most important parts of your life to your clients, your family, and your friends. And hey, if you're getting married or know someone who is, be sure to check out 3ringweddings.com for our amazing story packages. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome to the first real edition of Simply Scriptly. The title is not my idea. I'm going to be talking about how to format your script and write in what is the grammar of screenwriting. If you have no interest in writing screenplays, you'll probably want to skip this because you'll find it boring, but the rest of us are excited. And I'm here for the women 15 to 35 demographic anyway, so that'll keep you here. For our first chat, we're going over how to write a phone conversation. There's actually 3 ways to do this, and it depends on how you want to do it. When writing a screenplay, what you want is to give a pretty good indication of how you want it to look, so you should write your screenplay accordingly. Now, the first one is the easiest. Use this method when you only show one half of the conversation, either because hearing the other half isn't necessary, where the other person isn't important, or you don't want the reader to know who's being spoken to yet. Now, the laziest way is to write as a monologue and write pause whenever the other person is talking. Taking it a step further is interrupt it with action describing either what the character is being told or how they're reacting to it. Now, second is a little more detailed. Show one half, hear both halves. This is when you need to keep the other half's location secret for story reasons or seeing them just as important. Very simply, you write both characters' dialogue, but next to the unseen character's heading, you write parentheses O.S parentheses, which means off screen. That means this speaker isn't seen, but the character that is seen hears them. Third is more complex. You have to keep writing the scene headings. When you first want the other person shown, you write their scene heading, interior Tim's office day, and then a description paragraph saying what needs to be said about that scene. Then that character's dialogue. After that, though, the reader knows what's going on, and when you cut back, you don't have to do the detailed heading. Just keep alternating Tim's office, Jack's office, Tim's office, Jack's office. Now, there is a fourth option that didn't really come up until the past 10 years outside of sci-fi. the video chat. Now this one is actually really easy to deal with. Simply say in the description that the character is on a screen and write the scene like he's in the room. Alright, that's all I've got, so I'm gonna go back to bed until I need me again.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
So, there's a new way to interact with us now. We've decided to use a Vimeo album to contain just the movie segments. That way, if you just want to watch the movie without us interrupting, you can. It also gives us an easy way to make revisions to the film without too big a headache. There's a link in the show notes to get over there. And yes, I know it's pronounced Vimeo, but that sounds so pretentious.
And I told him, no, my good sir.
Oh, yes.
It's pronounced Vimeo.
No idea!
I refuse to call it Vimeo. Vimeo. Oh, and while I'm ranting, we recently learned that Facebook is making page owners pay to promote their pages. If we don't pay for it, only 10% of subscribers will actually see us in their newsfeed. So if you want to get all the storyline goodness, hover over the like button and click Show in Newsfeed. That, or just subscribe to our Twitter, @Storyline. So, that's it for this episode. Hope you're having as much fun as we are. One goal that we haven't really seen happen yet is the interactivity that I'd hoped for. I don't really want to just stand up here and talk about what we're doing. I really want the show to be viewer-driven. So, do you have any questions for us? Is there anything specific that you'd like to talk about, or suggestions about what to do with the story? Let us know. If we really like it, we'll make it part of the show and tell people your name, and you'll look awesome. There's links to all the various ways you can contact us in the show notes. See you next time when we talk about the forces of antagonism. See, we know what we're doing next time. I'm excited about that. I'm your host, Ben Howe, and I forgot to get my dog. And the sandwich shop. Sandwich shop scene. Sandwich shop scene. Doggone it! Can you see the shirt? It's Star Wars and Wizard of Oz. It's really important to me to do. Okay.